right, well, thanks for sticking up with us on this Thursday night. I got some good news and some bad news in terms of Waco weather. The good news is that we are breaking some records here in terms of the weather. Bad news is that we're breaking some records in terms of the weather. So our greatest consecutive 100-degree days in Waco. We are now at 25 days in a row, started at July 17th. It has just continued through today, August 10th. The total amount of 100-degree days that we've seen so far this summer is 38 days. That's not in a row. That's kind of a consecutive of all of those numbers throughout the summer. But unfortunately, in terms of seeing 25 days in a row, I think that'll climb to 26 tomorrow, 27 the next day, 28, 20. Through the extended forecast period, I do expect us to continue to climb up in terms of ranking. So I always say it's really cool to break some records. Yeah, great. When it comes to the heat weather records, not so much, and we continue to do that here in Waco at this time. But mainly clear skies outside of our live Syntax-Seamless Gutter Sky Tracker right over in Killeen. The Sky Tracker is actually on the rooftop of the One Killeen Center. Temperatures are falling back into those 90s. It's 93 degrees, feels more like 95, not too bad. Dew point in the mid 60s, it's 64. We do have a southeasterly wind at 10 miles per hour, and about maybe 5-6 hours ago, that breeze didn't feel so great because it's just kind of a hot breeze. But once the sun goes down, you get kind of a gusty wind out of the south with no solar insulation whatsoever, and then that definitely does help to feel just a little bit better. But in terms of temperatures, it's still pretty warm, upper 80s and lower 90s. 93 in Temple, 93 Killeen, like I just said, same with Waco, 94 over in Hillsboro. Looking at a current temperature in Mejia at 89 degrees. A south wind ongoing, anywhere between about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Some places like Temple, just a little bit over than that, 18 miles per hour, currently checking in at the 11:30 hour. So our exclusive Viper radar, pretty bone dry as of right now. We did have a little disturbance develop, a little atmospheric disturbance develop with the stationary front up to our northwest, and that did spark a few complexes of storms. They did have a southeasterly progression, but by the time they really started knocking on the door to where Brownwood and Comanche is, they basically fell apart because we have that high pressure dome situated over the area. So what does that do? It creates sinking air, and it basically demolishes or destructs any sort of storms that continue to try to form. But these storms did have a little bit of energy with them. It did let out a little outflow boundary that moved into parts of Mills and Hamilton. So areas in that direction, you guys probably saw some gusty winds maybe about 2-ish hours ago. But for the most part, no rain in sight for us. And that's going to be the trend heading into our Friday. It's also going to be the trend heading into our Saturday. We'll continue to see triple digits for the rest of your work week into much of this weekend. Plenty of sunshine in the forecast for us. Each morning, like tomorrow morning and Saturday morning, models pick up on a little bit of clouds that'll develop. If we see any sort of clouds, they're going to be mid to high level clouds, and they're not going to last very long whatsoever. We're still going to be looking at mainly clear skies overnight, a lot of blue skies in the afternoon hours, very hot, very humid weather. And with that, we do have that red flag warning in effect for portions of central Texas. That'll continue tomorrow afternoon and evening as the fire weather concern becomes very critical and becomes very elevated, and it kind of has maintained its status with us here and will continue to through the weekend and much of next week. Overnight lows, they'll be in the 80s with mainly clear skies. Highs tomorrow in the triple digits once again, 103 in Hillsboro, 106 here in Waco for your afternoon high. On Friday, we're going to go 105 over in Temple with that excessive heat warning now being extended through Friday evening, as temperatures will be, like I said, right around that 105-degree range, or heat index values as high as 112. Some places could even top that heat index value Friday afternoon. Your long-range 10-day forecast brought to you by Daniel Stark. Dry as a bone, very warm, triple digits, mainly sunny skies each afternoon. Breezy conditions through about Sunday. Those winds will subside heading into the early part of next week with overnight lows in the upper 70s and lower 80s. Bryan and College Station, once again, kind of the same story in that direction. Highs ranging from 106 to 108 all the way through about next Friday. Unfortunately, with overnight lows primarily in the lower 80s, but a couple mornings you could wake up in the upper 70s.